That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Asteroid City, the 11th film directed by Wes Anderson, which just premiered in competition at the 2023 Cannes Film Festival. It is being released courtesy of Focus Features on June 16th, 2023.
I know I've seen one Wes Anderson film.
Yeah, I took you to see Fantastic Mr. Fox.
And I recall enjoying it.
I enjoyed that one as well. My favorite is probably The Royal Tenenbaums. I think the early part of his career is great. And I have been consistently disappointed in both 2021's The French Dispatch and especially his latest film, which I've now seen twice.
Well, I watched this last night and it was a really unenjoyable experience. I did not care for this movie. The story, the itinerary of a Junior Stargazer convention is spectacularly disrupted by world-changing events. That makes it sound interesting.
It's not. It's also got a Russian doll syndrome going on because it's overly fussy and layered in a way that is meant to distract you from the fact that Roman Coppola's co-written screenplay has no story to tell.
So it's basically about a TV show hosted by Bryan Cranston talking about a playwright, Ed Norton, and then exemplifying the play he's writing called Asteroid City.
In 1955.
So like 80% of the film is us seeing like the play, but it's not on stage. It's like we're actually in this environment. So it's layered. I mean, I don't know why. But the story is that the Stargazer convention is coinciding with, there's some like lunar event that's going to occur combined with there is an award ceremony for all these gifted students. And I suppose the main character is Jason Schwartzman.
Mm-hmm. As Augie Steenbeck, that's the character he's playing in the production.
He's playing like two characters. He's playing the actor who's playing the character in the play. But his character is driving to Asteroid City, population 87, with his 4 children to go to this convention. Mm-hmm. And we find out that his wife, their mother, has recently died, but the kids don't know. And when they get to Asteroid City, well, no, as they're driving to Asteroid City, the car breaks down. It has to be towed with the assistance of, who's the mechanic?
Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon. And when they get there, Jason Schwartzman's like, well, I'm going to have your grandfather pick up you 3 little girls, played by Tom Hanks, and then I'll stay here with my son, who's part of the convention. The convention happens where all the kids are given an award, but during the lunar event, an alien, like a literal extraterrestrial creature, lands and steals the asteroid that has given this town its name. So now, this is like at the halfway point, now these people in this little town have to be quarantined because they've been exposed to an alien for like 7 days. So the second half of the film is them being quarantined and all the little stupid things that happen. And then on the 7th day when they're allowed to be released from quarantine, the alien comes back to return the asteroid. So then they think they're going to have to be quarantined again, but then the president issues like an executive order that they can just leave. But Jason Schwartzman's character didn't hear the order and overslept, so he's the last one standing with his kids and father-in-law. They never got to leave because they were quarantined. The end.
Then they're in a diner within this play, and that's the end.
I mean, there are more things that happen, but I don't know what any of it means. I didn't understand the message. The biggest crime is the shit is not funny. And I wrote down everything that made me even slightly chuckle, and I have 7 things. Mm-hmm. And we were in a screening room that probably had like, what, 30 people in it?
Probably 40.
Or 40. The laughs were sparse. You saw it in Venice?
Cannes.
Oh, Cannes. Were people laughing at the screening?
They were. It was a much larger audience, but not as much as you would think. A lot of these moments feel really flat.
There was one lady who was laughing a lot, but if I take her out of it, I feel like the laughs were super sparse. But yeah, this just isn't funny. And then it's overly... It's not complicated. It's just like a lot going on.
It's fussy. It's a 7-layer dip where 6 of the layers have no flavor. And all of these, none of these characters are having an authentic human experience in my mind.
Well, let me talk about what I thought was funny. So I really liked Jason Schwartzman's 3 daughters. These 3 little girls. I thought they were really cute. And when we first meet them, you know, their car is broken down, so they're waiting in a diner. And the server at the diner, this older woman, she refers to them as like, oh, what do you little three princesses want to drink? And the girls are like, we're not princesses. And then they start talking about what they are, like a vampire, or... I thought that was super cute. In every scene they're in, I thought they were really cute. Which, you know, for me is good because I don't generally like seeing little kids. And they weren't precocious or obnoxious. They were just... They were almost kind of creepy.
They were creepy in one note.
But I liked it. Okay, so when Jason Schwartzman calls his father-in-law, Tom Hanks, who's supposed to be the super rich attorney on the golf course, it's clear Tom Hanks doesn't like Jason Schwartzman. And he's like, did you tell them? Did you tell the kids? No, I didn't tell them. What do you mean you didn't tell them? Are you for real you didn't tell them? No, I didn't tell them. Well, I'll come get them when I'll be there when I get there, but you better tell them. So of course, as the audience, it's like, well, what didn't he tell them? So then he sits them down and explains that, you know, your mother was sick. She died. And then the oldest son, this made me laugh. He says, are you saying our mother died 3 weeks ago? It made me laugh because I'm like, that's so ridiculous. These kids, how do they not even know the mom was not...
Right.
But I thought it was a good start because actually, Tom Hanks' character to me seems like the most like human, like the person who seems like the most
recognizable
as a human person of life.
Sure.
So that worked. Then when the girls meet their grandfather, they're like, who is this man?
No, one was like, who's this old man?
Who's this old man? And then the one girl's like, oh, I remember the smell. That made me chuckle. Okay, when the alien comes down. So I liked how the film looked like the first like act. Well, getting to negatives, I really hated that the film was sort of organized by acts and scenes.
I know.
Which made the movie even more tedious to me because I'm like, oh God, it's a 3-act play and we're still on act 1. Like
every time one of those placeholders comes up, I'm like, oh God.
Anyway, when the alien comes down, it's like claymation.
Yeah.
Oh, but I was going to say, I like how the film looks. It's very vibrant and...
The production design of all of his films is so impressive.
However, the second half of the film looks muted.
Sure.
Which was confusing to me. I'm sure there's meaning to it, but then I didn't like how it looked. But when the alien comes down, it did make me laugh because the alien is like claymation and it kind of reminded me of our cat. Like... awkward, sneaky, and the eyes, and it was looking, and the eyes were kind of going in circles. I did chuckle. You didn't like the alien.
No.
Okay, then all the brainiac genius kids who were there for the conference.
I couldn't stand that.
They were annoying, but the one girl from It,
Sophia Lillis.
after the kids see the alien and the federal government shows up and quarantines, they're doing like mental evaluations of everyone. And when they get to her, they're showing her those Rorschach like blot images and asking her what she sees. And every time they pull a card, she's like, alien riding a bike, alien stuffing a turkey. I thought that was funny.
That was cute, but then immediately the camera pans to the next kid who's being interrogated about his something he wrote in 6th grade for the school paper, and it's like...
I agree. Yeah. And then you didn't like this scene, and so then there's a teacher.
Maya Hawke's, unnecessary, not needed.
Is she someone's kid?
Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke's child, yeah.
She's a teacher, and like her group is there. She's there with a group of students to do this stargazing thing, and her teaching I don't know, I didn't really care for her characterization, but she's trying to teach them, and they're all preoccupied with the alien. Like all these little kids saw an alien, and you want to talk about Neptune. I thought that was grating, but there is a moment when one of the boys, because they keep saying, like, I drew a portrait of an alien. Oh, I made a figurine of the spaceship. And then one boy's like, I wrote a song about the alien. And
Dwight.
And the teacher says, I don't think this is the time. And he's like, because there's another, David Chokachi is in the movie as the cowboy.
Rupert Friend as Montana the cowboy.
That's not David Chokachi?
No.
Did we watch another movie with it?
We sure did.
Oh, we watched Atlantic Rim, a Mystery Science Theater version. He looks the same to me. Who's the actor I'm really talking about?
Rupert Friend, who looks like Orlando Bloom. But
he looks like a lot of people. But anyway, the little boy wants to sing his song, and then that guy comes in, the cowboy, like, come on, band, and they play the song. The kid, you didn't like that scene. I thought it was cute.
No, I didn't.
Lastly, the seventh thing I laughed at was the alien.
On the seventh day. Yeah.
Is Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
I mean, it's not really because it's claymation, but then we see Jeff Goldblum sitting like he's supposed to be the alien. Mm-hmm. That made me laugh because actually Jeff Goldblum seems like he could be that alien.
Yes. And talking about it, how it's a metaphor that he doesn't quite know the meaning of yet. Which but
that's it. So getting back to more things I didn't like, Jeffrey Wright is in the film.
Oh, poor Jeffrey.
Playing like the person who's head of this like research thing that's giving these awards. And he gives 3 speeches throughout the film that were painful because it's so clear whoever wrote this,
Wes Anderson and Roman Coppola,
thinks that these are funny, and I just didn't see the humor in. I mean, I see that they're trying to be funny, but the shit wasn't funny.
I think you said they're imprints of comedic rhythm.
It's like so obvious that you're trying to be funny, but it's not hitting. It's like watching someone who's dancing with no rhythm, but then they're not even having fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was, and he has 3 of those scenes.
Mm-hmm. And Tilda, who's usually I think she started working with Wes around. I love Moonrise Kingdom, which Coppola also.
And I like Tilda Swinton.
And I do too. And
that lady has nothing to do.
She to me has one of the best moments in The French Dispatch, which I thought there couldn't be a worse film from Wes Anderson. But she really, as Dr. Hickenlooper, she has nothing to do.
My last note is I don't know who Jason Schwartzman is, but I liked him. I like his face, and I didn't mind his characterization, but there's no reprieve from like, so really what I think about this movie is if someone invited me to their house, like, hey, I want to show you something. And I'm like, ooh, what are you going to show me? Oh, I want to show you the Sims world I made. Mm-hmm. So I'm just watching their computer screen with these characters bebopping around. And then they're telling me about the characters. And they're not a good storyteller. That's how this movie felt to me. Why do I want to watch people? They're just doing things that it seems like there's no purpose, and I don't care about these people.
Well, there's no meaning of, there's no emotional interiority. When Hong Chow shows up as Adrian Brody is the director. So,
oh my God.
So in the, what layer, what's the second layer of skin? The dermis? In the dermal layer or whatever of this film, where Hong Chow shows up, who's divorcing the director, who's sleeping on the set, and I
like Hong Chow.
I do too. She felt really flat in this.
Super flat.
But the moment where she says, "Oh, you should tell Midge Campbell, the Scarlett Johansson character," she says,
"She should say this line.
Say this line behind the door." And Adrian Brody says the line, which is, "We're doomed." And Hong Chow slams the door and says goodbye. Like that should have felt something. That I should have a feeling there. And
yeah, it was just. Oh my God! And then we didn't even.
Scarlett Johansson. So Scarlett Johansson's playing an actress named Mercedes, who's playing Midge Campbell in Asteroid City. And Midge is trying
like
she's gonna play a character named Dolores. So it's like it sounds like that should be dizzyingly fun, but it's not smart enough. This is verbose, loquacious dialogue, but not smart. All of these lines like putter out here like Gilmore Girls, but nothing is being said that is funny or smart. And it's really disappointing. It's like I can't enjoy
There's so many cool people in the movie. Like Adrian Brody is the director. Like we get a lot of him that I don't even know. Like he looks great, and I do like Adrian Brody. Willem Dafoe's in the shit, and I don't know what his character was.
Salzburg Keitel. He's supposed to be an acting coach. Like he has these famous acting classes. Like what's his face?
Yeah. The one who
Constant.
That one video of Lady Gaga talking about her acting method, and then Selma Hayek sitting there like, bitch, you did 2 movies. Calm down.
Stanislavski.
Yes.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe feels wasted.
And I like Willem Dafoe.
I do too.
You know I like Ed Norton.
There's a gay scene.
I like Ed Norton, but his accent work was, and I know he's known for doing like country fried. I mean, I don't know. That felt weird. And then Jason Schwartzman's character, because he's playing the actor playing the character, he's the one character who keeps going in and out of the play into reality. And we find out in reality, his character's gay, and he's having, at minimum, a sexual relationship with Ed Norton. I don't know why we needed that.
You do know who Jason Schwartzman is. He is Talia Shire's son.
I know who Talia Shire is, but I couldn't name a Jason Schwartzman movie.
Shop Girl with Claire Danes. You can't name that movie?
No. But I did like him in this movie. Like, he didn't bother me. I like how he looks, but his hair is not going to be on my worst list because I think he has nice hair. But someone needs to help me understand. They shave like a big patch in his head. Mm-hmm. That I don't know if it's supposed to be like a recession to make him look older, because it just looks like someone took clippers and accidentally. It was so distracting to me.
I will say, I think Scarlett Johansson, I don't love this performance, but she fits the aesthetic of the period well, which she's done before. She played Janet Leigh in the Anthony Hopkins Hitchcock film. She played the Ethel Merman prototype in Hail Caesar. She had the style, right? I just didn't like anything else about her. You also have like Bob Balaban and Fisher Stevens on the sideline. There's a whole... Liev Schreiber has nothing to do. I thought he was pretty annoying.
That's right.
Hope Davis. There's a whole... I don't know. I can't even read my notes anymore. But there's Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie.
You know, I like Margot Robbie. And so she is Jason Schwartzman's wife, the character who died. Like the mom who died. And initially we only see a portrait of her looking real sexy in a kiddie pool. Mm-hmm. And then towards the end, he steps out of the play into reality. And then we see Margot Robbie as the actor playing the mom, doing a different show. So she's dressed up like Elizabethan era. I don't know why we needed that. And then the worst crime of all is her makeup looked crazy. They have her close up in black and white, blown out. Her eyebrows are all wonky.
And she's starring in a production of something called The Fruit Withered on the Vine, which sounds much more interesting.
I know I probably sound dumb, and I know people like this movie, I'm sure, and there are going to be comments.
I don't care. I didn't like it.
It just wasn't, like, maybe it goes above my head, although I don't think it does. Like, I don't know it's just not funny to me.
It's not funny. It's not, because usually Wes Anderson gets around to some sense of poignancy with his, his litany of ambivalent fathers that he's had. You know, like, because if you think of Royal Tenenbaums, he did this cycle of, like, the Life Aquatic and Darjeeling Limited, where he kind of spins his wheel. It's like he can't let go of that nugget of a bone, this kernel that he has that he wants to keep driving into the ground. And I think because of the critical acclaim of the Grand Budapest Hotel, right, this is this heavily mannered intricacy that he's now repeated himself several times on, and I think that he needs to take a break. I'd love to see like a 2-piece chamber piece from Wes Anderson. Could you tell a story with just 2 characters that aren't notable actors? Probably not. I also really didn't like the score by Alexander Desplat, who he's won 2 Oscars for composing for Grand Budapest and The Shape of Water. It has this like tinkly piano thing that keeps happening that's like really twee. I loathed it every time it came on. We're supposed to be signaled that something like magical is happening. I didn't like it.
We get it. What would you give this movie? 1. I would give it 1 out of 5. Anything else?
No.
Hit the thanks button. Listen to our podcast. Bye.